All right, we on.
We on?
Yes, sir.
We on. Back at it one more time. Back at it again. Generation Us. I'm O, the futuristic baby boomer.
Lively hair, progressive millennial.
Back at it again, man, for another episode. So, happy to be back on today, man. You know, we got a bunch of shit to talk about. You brought up an interesting topic before we got on the mic, man, talking about President Trump is turning into a Bitcoin bro.
Yeah, man. I was listening to the Wall Street Journal, the podcast this morning. I was my drive to Arlington, and the episode was talking about Trump being having this Bitcoin bromance. As you know, Trump has been rallying behind the Bitcoin boys to help him win the election. But the thing about it is that Trump wasn't always pro Bitcoin.
Of course not.
Until he had this NFT created after him to stroke his ego. And a lot of people who bought the NFT bought it with Bitcoin. So he realized his value in the market. And all of a sudden, because he has value in the market now, he shift his whole morale to wanting to see Bitcoin succeed.
So that's really quite right. I mean, you're close. That was an eye-opener for him.
The source is the journal.
but here's what really happened. Trump was told that there are 50 million U.S. citizens that own a Bitcoin wallet. 50 million. Mm-hmm. And so for many of them, Bitcoin and having some regulation that's crypto friendly is going to be a single issue voter, single issue item for people who want to vote their economic future and their economic security. And so for those individuals, he's like, I need to win on the margins. Let me get those folk. And he became pro Bitcoin.
Okay. So you think that, so that's primarily the reason, because you want to get the single issue voters.
Yeah, no question.
But either way, when I was listening to the pod and they made a statement, it was just wild for me, right? Because on a separate note, or a separate relationship I have with Bitcoin, you have with Bitcoin, and I'm happy, even though I'm not as versed with the market and what's happening with Bitcoin nowadays, but I'm glad that I dove into it as early as I did and understand it and know its value. And I know that it's here to stay. And I see it as part of this, what I like to call the solar punk movement. And it just makes sense in so many different ways. So I support it. And when I heard something like, president, we have a president that has made the first cryptocurrency on the blockchain protocol, purchasing something at a store. And I was like, wow, that is inspiring, because what does that say to a nation, to this new development and amazing technology that is Bitcoin? But then I was like, this is the same motherfucker that's on Celebrity Apprentice. So it just took the fizz out of it. I'm like, it's not like if it was like Bill Clinton or Obama. Not to say those guys didn't have some dirt on them too, but I mean, Trump is just a different kind of president. So I was just like, I don't feel inspired all of a sudden. But that would have been a cool thing to wrap my head around,
So here's my take. Obviously, I'm not a Trump supporter, obviously. And I'm anti-Trump. I think he is a danger to democracy. But what Trump does do, as it relates to this Bitcoin, embracing Bitcoin, is he is helping his followers to be open, conscious, aware of the Bitcoin piece. And so, to the extent that he says he's going to have a Bitcoin strategic reserve if he gets elected, and I pray that he does not, his followers are more open now to Bitcoin. It helps for mass adoption. Yeah. It helps for becoming mainstreaming Bitcoin. And so now we are here at a place where it's September. We're after the halving. We're going into October. And for those who know, if you know, October is Uptober as it relates to Bitcoin. Mm-hmm. And we're at a place now, man, where literally I think we're going to see fireworks as it relates to Bitcoin between now and March, April.
Yeah.
Of 2025.
That's exciting.
Oh, it's
that's I think that's the only positive thing I've ever heard you say in relations to Trump. Wow, that's one in ever.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, he's got his, because the people who are
No publicity is bad publicity.
Yeah, but,
for
but people who are, psycho for Trump,
yeah,
he's a Bitcoin enthusiast. They're going to get into Bitcoin.
Yeah, man. It. But it's always interesting if you don't really, obviously, if you don't understand, you're thinking, oh, Trump is supporting Bitcoin, but he's in it for his own.
He's always in it for his own. Crazy. Absolutely, man. He's always in it for his own. Yeah. But so let's talk about Bitcoin a little bit though, because we haven't talked about it in a minute.
Okay.
And I know, you're driving your Bitcoin. You know what I mean? Yeah. So but Bitcoin is getting ready to open some eyes, and you got institutions that now have embraced Bitcoin. BlackRock, is buying Bitcoin. There's a tremendous amount of buying of Bitcoin that's happening by institutions, large whales, and people are starting to really come to it. And there's precious little Bitcoin available to be purchased. So supply and demand from an economic standpoint means that Bitcoin is getting ready to go up in terms of its value. I believe by the time we get to March, April, Bitcoin is going to be at or above 6 figures. And, some folks, if you believe the folks that are out there in crazy land, I'm not trying to embrace that, but they believe Bitcoin is going to be over 1 million before we get out of 2025. And so I don't know if that's true, but BlackRock just got greenlit to have options on Bitcoin, and that's going to bring a lot of liquidity to the Bitcoin space. Mm-hmm. So we get ready to go into an exciting time.
That's so interesting when I think about this, because we're in the early adoption phase. I akin Bitcoin to more of like a religion or something. It's crazy because the folks that talk about it feels like, oh, you're talking about that thing again, or you believe in that thing again, right? Either for the non-believers, it's like, yeah, that's woo-woo, that's superstition, right? It has that feel and spirit to it. Like I remember, I wonder if like the dollar was once like that, where people like, look at me, listen, man, the dollar gonna be a thing, bro. That shit gonna be popping. We're gonna be using it for everything. It's like, man, we still using these rocks. You know what I mean? Like, fuck out of here. What you mean about the dollar? You know what I mean? Like, we still have this barter system of take this gold. Well,
dollars have been around since before I could even remember, and my parents could be around. Remember?
Yeah.
But Bitcoin is now a mainstream asset, and I wouldn't even be into Bitcoin if it wasn't for you. You brought that shit to the table, man.
Yeah, I'm happy I learned about it when we did. The early adopter thing, man, it's really cool. And I think a lot of times, the reason why people, I guess, don't take advantage of things, because I witness it all the time with technology. When a trend happens, it's like something is coming along. And I'm excited about it. I'm enthusiastic about it. I'm looking at it. But for a lot of people, it seems like conceptual is like too far to be true, because, maybe you don't understand other components that, add up and make it make sense. So, it's like you brush it off. You don't believe it's going to happen. And then it goes to its phase where it's happening, and then you're already using it. You've already knew about it. Then you're like, oh, that thing is old news. And so what's next? And so we have this like deception phase where no one cares about it. And it's delusional. And then when it happens, it's like, oh, we're already living in the presence where Bitcoin is a thing. And then what's the next thing we're looking forward to? That's how humans operate. So when you're like early phase and you're trying to tell people, look what's coming, it's so hard to have, they call you conspiracies, they call you all these different things. And it's so fascinating to watch it happen. But anyway, my point is, that's why people don't invest. They ignore it until it becomes too late. And then before they invest, it become like Bitcoin value is already, people have already capitalized. The poor is poor, the rich is richer. The same cycle repeats.
Absolutely. 100%. And so here's what's funny. I've got folks that, who have, because I've been in it for a minute, that.
Yeah.
And those folks, will come to me and say, hey, what's happening in Bitcoin? Should I get in? Should I buy? What should I, they want some counsel. And my thing is, I want to get more information on Bitcoin. I'll send you some videos, but if I get to the point where you're not reading the videos and not listening to the videos I send, I'm not wasting my time. I'm not doing that, right? And so, again, if you have a desire to learn more about it, and you understand it, you get it, and you're willing to put the work in to say, oh, I get it. Yeah, man, give me some more information. I'm all about it.
Yeah.
But if you're, send it to me and you ain't going to open it and look at it, man, I'm not wasting my time.
Right.
So I got about 5, maybe 6 people that really are into it and really want to. They've opened a Bitcoin account. They're buying Bitcoin. They're putting money aside. What do we need to buy? And I've got about 5 or 6 folks, and I send them information on a regular. I got some other folks that are like, oh, send me what you got. And they don't open it. They don't move forward. Man, I cut them off, man. Fuck that. I'm not doing that shit.
Yeah.
You get Bitcoin at the price you deserve. And so, if you ain't really checking for it, when it becomes $300,000 of Bitcoin, you buy it then. You get it when you deserve it.
Yeah, I mean, it's inevitable, but that's the trend of technology. That's why, that's my understanding, which is what gives me peace of mind. And I don't try to convince anyone. And also, you have to have kind of the capital to really be excited and want to learn about it and invest. If you ain't got the bread too, it's like, it becomes one of the things where it doesn't feel like you're not motivated to want to learn. Unless people who have it depends on who you are.
Well, I mean, look.
All those things are factors.
I buy Bitcoin every week.
You dollar cost average, right?
$50.
Yeah.
It ain't much. Instead of getting 3 Starbucks hot chocolates, I just buy Bitcoin every week, $50. $50. That's it. It's not a lot. But Bitcoin at what it is right now, compared to where it will be in 5 years, that investment's going to 5x, 10x, 11x, $50.
Yeah. But I hope the ones that maybe, what generation would you think has the most Bitcoin? Gen X, Gen Zers, Boomers? Who do you think took advantage of it? Definitely not Boomers.
Hell no, they don't know about
society
that shit. But now Boomers are starting to buy it because their financial advisors are able to have them buy the BlackRock product and put at least 3 to 4% into their portfolio. So Boomers are getting in by virtue of their financial advisors.
Yeah.
Gen X are getting in because of their financial advisors. Gen Z, to the extent they have the resources, are buying it direct and self-custodying, which is what you should do.
Yeah, man, I feel like it's going to be a huge disruption before there's a correction, because the way trend is happening is just not adding up. Where wealth distribution and or different values of currencies, and also the trend with younger generation not being able to get jobs and be hired, and unemployment versus, all these different things that are happening. The trend is just looking like, damn, is the future an optimistic one? Or is it only going to be if the morals and ethics of society changes? Because what's happening is non-reversible. And again, AI has taken a huge, it's shifted society by so much. It's caused a warp in things. And I feel like if we don't correct humanity's humanity moral, AI is gonna replicate that, and it's gonna end up, not serving as well. So that's a scary thing, Yeah. Anyway, I'm just watching this whole thing, and I'm like, yeah, it could go either way, man, based on our moral codes.
Well, I'm in the process of automating a lot of my processes.
That's good, man.
Yeah, I have a beast online marketing person that can, take your stuff to the next level.
Yeah.
If you're interested in her information, send us an email at generationpodcast1@gmail.com.
It's like correction, Generation Us Podcast.
Generation Us Podcast1@gmail.com.
Yep.
And I'll send you her information. But she's a beast. Mm-hmm. And she's taking my practice and automating it and training AI to make my processes, so I don't have to do the redundant stuff.
That's dope.
It is.
That's dope. So we got an agent now, man. We got a personal agent now with us.
Yeah.
It's helped me a lot. AI has helped me increase my
Well, you've
workflow.
been on AI for a minute.
It's helped me. I feel like with AI, my IQ points like elevates like at least an additional 7 points, 8 points, let's say. That's crazy to think about how much it helps me throughout my day with tasks and stuff, you know, writing, editing, brainstorming, you know, quick titles, post descriptions. It's amazing.
It is.
It's amazing.
AI is amazing.
But once again, we're just pretending like this thing has always been here. You know?
Well, the big concern is that, you know, when AI becomes able to start teaching and training itself.
Yeah.
And the flaws of humans that are embedded in the AI technology begin to demonstrate themselves. The biases that humans have start demonstrating and coming out in the AI. That's a concern.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's the cyberpunk world versus the solarpunk world that we're talking about. So it can go either way. We're at a crossroads, but it's been fascinating to see. I hope for the best. I really hope for the best.
Well, you know, so here's what's interesting. You know, I mean, things are changing and things are evolving always. You know, I just recently started a nonprofit. Well, it's for profit right now to become a nonprofit with 3 partners, and it's called Empower Youth Enterprises, and LLC. And, you know, our focus is into focusing on financial entrepreneurship and educating our youth in terms of becoming, you know, financially independent.
Okay.
Right? You know, because right now, you know, what's not taught in schools is how to manage money, how to be able to.
Not even in business school?
Well, business school, maybe, but not in high school, not in college. You're not getting courses on how to make money, manage money, be able to do that. You went to college, you know, that's not what they're teaching you,
nope.
Right? So a lot of folks, where you get your financial education is either watching your parents' mistakes and saying, I don't want that to happen to me, or being educated by some parents who are willing to teach you, which is rare, or not knowing anything. And so, you know, what we're focusing on right now, which is interesting because, you know, everybody's talking about getting a college degree, you know? But if you're come out of high school and you have a C average, you're not going to get merit aid to go to college. You're going to end up paying for college out of pocket or using loans. That could be an expensive proposition. College isn't for every person and for every student, right? So we're going to focus on what are the alternatives to college. There are several careers that are out there that you can go to trade school or go to different pathways that you can make $150,000 a year plus and get there within a 2-3 year period.
Yeah.
Not going to college.
Yeah.
Not spending that money. So we want to begin to focus on bringing those options to students so that they don't have to feel like the only way I can be economically secure is going to college.
Debt.
It's like,
you know, it's like when you have to pay for your Comcast bundle. A lot of TV stations you don't fucking watch, but you got to pay for all of it, which justifies the price. And then you're just like, well, I'm into the real world. One, I may not even guarantee a job, but 2, I had to pay to learn all those unnecessary courses that now got me in debt, as opposed to just streamlining. If you know exactly the focus of what you want to do, a lot of trade model makes sense now because there's so many things that emerging from AI and different things that you can just get your certificate in and learn that field where you don't have to take on all these extra courses unnecessarily in the college experience to be on campus and shit and meet and fuck around, right?
Exactly.
So I like that because that model, I think, is more of the evolved way that we should be doing education and learning and bringing people into the workforce.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so just to give you a taste of the things that we're focusing on, to give you a pathway to be able to get to the types of careers where you can have financial security and independence without going through the college avenue.
Yeah.
You know, elevator repair. Repairing elevators is something you can learn to do. With new construction happening at the rate that it is, elevator repair and being able to be a technician for elevators is huge.
That's crazy.
There are a lot of elevators
that's breaking down all the damn time in apartment complexes everywhere.
Every time I go somewhere to a hotel,
one of the elevators don't work.
Right?
Fuck
and you can make $150K, 90
That's
to
crazy.
$150K a year being able to be an elevator technician.
Just on staff in the complex, in that apartment complex all the time, just assigned to fix elevators.
Or being in a company where they call you to come in and fix it, and you got 15, 20 clients where you're coming to service.
Yeah. I see technician all the time. No one thinks about that, right?
Absolutely.
But that's crazy, right? You can just certify in that.
You can get an aviator license where you can fly for UPS, FedEx, and fly packages, not flying people, but you can get that in 18 months.
Yeah.
And you can make $90,000 to $150,000 a year flying planes.
That's crazy.
To deliver packages.
That's crazy.
Yo.
Things that most people don't even think about,
Don't even
right?
think about.
They don't think about. I like that idea of, man, like your hustle is quiet and people don't gotta know, because people think about the mundane things that you got to do to earn income, and the ones that you don't even think about that you can specialize and make a lot of money doing. Like what a lot of people didn't want to do plumbing. Well, that's just because it's a shitty job, but because no one wants to do it, it makes a lot of money. And when that boy's out there taking you to dinner, got the fine wash and stepping out in the Jag, it won't matter. You know what I mean? And he gets his grind on. He's making his money doing a boring company.
Man, HVAC, become a master electrician, master plumber. You can get paid, man, over $100K.
That's dope.
Become an apprentice and do that. There are a lot of pathways that don't require going to college that allow you to go and be able to, within a 2-year period, 3-year period, get the skills you need to go into an industry that needs more people, will pay you over 6 figures, and you can be able to do that. Empower Youth Enterprises is focused on being able to give alternatives to be able to help folks get to that place where they can empower themselves.
Is that the name of the company?
Empower Youth Enterprises, LLC. Absolutely.
Nice. Is there a website for it? Or
yeah,
is it,
man, it is. I'll tell you next episode.
All right. Sounds good. That's dope, man.
Yeah, 100%.
That's what's up.
100%.
I was going to say evolving the rubric of college.
Yeah. Well,
college planning.
College is important.
Yeah, it is.
But if you're not able to really focus on, the whole college piece, like I said, again, if you're in high school, you come out, you graduate, you got a C average, right? You're not going to get merit aid. You're not going to be able to be in the ballpark of that. You're going to typically be looking at paying for college with loans or out-of-pocket funds.
Yeah.
And so, college may be for you. That's cool. But if it's not for you and you want to consider other options that can get you to a salary that can support your family and help you floss out life in less than 4 years, there's some trade options that can really be powerful for you. And that's what we want to bring to the table.
I like that, man. That's dope. Yeah.
So we're going to bring those options to the table.
Yeah.
Now, we don't want to leave college out. We still have information related to college if that's where you are leaning toward, and you have, the grades and the activities to be able to take advantage of that. Yeah, we have some options for you for that too.
Yeah.
But, we want to focus on the population that's not going to have that as a priority.
Yeah, you know, one person who actually loved college would seem like they never graduated. At least they were always at a Howard homecoming.
Who?
That's Diddy.
Diddy.
Oh, that's Diddy.
Man,
Say what?
Diddy. Man, Diddy's in a rough place, man. So what's your thought about
I hate
Diddy?
to be the one. I'm like, this is at least in my stratosphere is everywhere. Like I turn on my computer, my phone, And I'm just like, I can't help but to click on a shit that got Diddy in it. It's just been fascinating to me because, like, I think Diddy has been a mogul of multiple generations. I grew up watching a lot of Diddy videos, a lot of song with Diddy, a lot of things produced by Diddy and Bad Boy. The entire industry had like at least Diddy touched for a long time. And, you know, like, every time I saw Diddy again, like, it wasn't like my spirit took to this guy that seemed like he was a nice guy who treated people with dignity and respect. I never really thought about that at Diddy, but the whole, you know, I was distracted by a lot of just his success, right? So I didn't really think on it too much. And I don't know the guy, so I don't really have too many opinions all the time. Like, I ain't got time to worry about Diddy, right? But when this, you know, when obviously when the allegation came out, and fast forward to last week where, like, they finally arrested his ass for racketeering and all these sex scandals and stuff, it's just been feeling so surreal because the amount of people that have these connection with Diddy that could possibly also be guilty of a lot of these things that Diddy's being accused of is scary. It almost feels like the whole industry. And that's the first of its kind. It's not something like Jeffrey Epstein where he did his thing. I mean, it was obviously high profile people involved in it. I don't even like. I forget where I was going with it. Diddy's case is so different, because I don't know if everybody can avoid the escape this time, if that makes sense. So, unless he commits suicide again, like,
well, they have him on
quote
suicide
unquote,
watch,
like Jeffrey Epstein.
They have him on suicide watch.
Yeah, that's how it started. That's the first level.
But here's the thing. So, do you think what they're doing to Diddy is reasonable and fair?
I do, but I don't have enough evidence. It's mostly just based on the allegations I've seen so far. My personal take on Diddy, and obviously it's personal. I don't like the guy. I think all the allegation against him is real. It's facts. I don't know that to be true, but so far, even if just the Cassie video is enough to even convince me, right? What he did with making a band, how he treated those guys, the cast. Like, we saw a way of Diddy that we, you know, just hadn't seen before for that duration of time. You know, then you think about, you know, why J-Lo never went back to him. I mean, she got her own problems too, but why she never looked back after she left. You know, you start to see this relationship. You see videos that resurface from Diddy and the way he's acting amongst other men. It's almost like he got something dangling over them, and that he's clowning or he's making them appear to be childlike or like a boy, you know, when he's in the videos. He's calling him daddy, saying, I love you, proud of you. He's licking his lips. He's doing a lot of things that's like subliminal. You know, it's so, like, he just seemed like a bad character. So, yes, to answer your question, I feel like he deserved everything that's coming. I think he's heard a lot of lies.
So where I am is, I saw the video with Cassie. Yeah. Where he was whooping her ass. Mm-hmm. I don't need to see anything else. Yeah. That's fucking acceptable. You know, for that type of treatment of Cassie, even if that's the only time he ever did it.
The fact that you did it once, like, hey,
you
could do that.
You got. Yeah. You can't do that to another person. That's unacceptable. So in my mind, hey, he got to account for that. Yeah. You can't treat somebody else. He beat the shit out of her.
You know, interestingly, I don't even think. Again, going back to the story, if that was a guy, you know, that I had the power over and I could whip his ass, I wouldn't treat him like that. I wouldn't beat him in that fashion. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not the kind of guy that will want to knock a person out when they're already on the floor. You know what I mean? Like, there's certain people who go the extent that, you know, or go to a place that I'm like, I could just never go. And so when you see that video, if Diddy had the potential to do that to a person, let alone a woman, for me, it's unexplainable, and like nothing would justify that. I don't know. Yeah. sickness or a disease or something, an ailment. I don't know.
Look,
but
that goes back to absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Yeah.
They got so much money, you think you can do anything to anybody and it's all good. So,
Power drain.
you can't. That doesn't work. Can't do it. And, I feel for the women that he abused. Now, R. Kelly was the first domino to drop.
That's who I wanted to compare it to. R. Kelly, not Jeffrey Epstein, because he was self-act. Like, he just pissed on little girls by himself, not justifying, but he acted alone in most of his things, right? His is more fetish style. He kept it to himself. He went down, it was only him. But Diddy is different because he has a lot of connection that also partake with him. That's what I meant to say. So this is scarier.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't know if there's other shoes to drop. If Diddy's going to dime on other folks that were doing that shit with him. I don't know. They say he recorded everything.
You don't think he's going to dime?
If it saves his ass, he will.
Right. If it saves his ass, he would. So what can happen to Diddy? Think about it. At this level, the amount of connections, the amount of people that have already stepped down, these multimillionaires. Either Diddy snitch and save his own self, and a lot of information come out and we see a lot more people in the industry go down, or did he suck it up and he gets life in prison? He ain't getting out with the kind of charges he got.
Diddy ain't doing that shit.
Or did he commit suicide? Quote unquote. Right now he's under suicide arrest. A suicide watch. I kind of feel like that's the first step. Oh, he was on suicide watch because he was suicidal. Oh, he committed suicide.
Like Jeffrey. That's what happened to Jeffrey Epstein.
The amount of connection and power, the people that are in power that has this connection to Diddy, I don't know if they're going to sit down, let that shit ride and let information come out, or let him have the opportunity to ride before. He offered a $500 million bond, and $50 million bond, and they say no. They said no.
Yeah, no, they say no bond.
$50 million, no bond, bro.
No, because he got the resources and money to be a part of this joint.
But he could have been up out of there. He went to New York, and eventually he intended to turn himself in, and they just got to him early, right? Because I guess they got enough evidence and things, so they got him at the New York apartment. But he went to do his thing, do his brother love, show love in the streets, visit different boroughs and shit, get pictures taken so he can have that as evident that he's a good person in the community. He wanted to do his PR shit, and he was going to turn himself in eventually, like maybe 2 days later, but they got to him early, So Brother Love is P. Diddy, Puffy Diddy Combs. All of that is about to take all that.
No, man. It's just not good, man. It's just, it's just not good. And again, the question becomes, where do the other shoes drop? R. Kelly is, packed away. Harvey Weinstein's packed away. Just
the other shoes dropped. Not Tyler Perry. I'm kidding.
I don't know. Yeah. You have
They're
no
saying
idea
Jay-Z.
who.
They're saying the rumors is connected to Jay-Z.
They're saying that. I don't know. I hope not.
There's a thing about people wanting to see utter joy from this happening, and also wanting Jay-Z to be next to, these people who've been in at the top of their career for so long. I know there are a lot of people who are like, I wish this, these guys can go down. There's that part too, man. How do you feel? Do you think, I don't know. I feel like everything Diddy's getting is justified. I'm not happy to see a black entertainer and a mogul go down like that. But the way Diddy built his, we even thinking about Diddy possibly was involved in Biggie's murder. You can't put anything past Diddy at this point. So it's kind of, look, if you're going to be abusive and you're going to treat women that way, I don't have any sympathy for you. Because that's unacceptable. Now, there's some people who have fame, money, power, and they handle it responsibly. If you're going to be irresponsible and let it go to your head and treat people less than human,
I mean, and it comes time you got to pay for that. You got to pay for that.
Yeah, it feels like the whole industry is so rotten, man. You hearing things about Usher. I grew up with My Way, man. Like the amount of shit that has come up about Usher and how he was a victim of Diddy. Now he brought Justin Bieber to Diddy so Diddy can do the same thing. That trauma repeats. Oh man, the sickness.
Do you think Usher's getting ready to get caught up in this?
Yeah, Usher just randomly deletes his entire tweet history for years, days after Diddy gets locked up. Everybody's like, we weren't looking in your direction.
It's not going anywhere.
It's not going anywhere. But everybody's like, well, Usher, what was you doing over there? Huh? Like, if we weren't looking, now we are. What's up? Like,
right.
What's
up?
You
volunteering. Shit.
I mean, I can imagine it's probably panic and not knowing what to do. Usher was taking the custody of Diddy from when he was like 16 years old or something, 15, 16. You know, he went to an Usher company. His mom let him, stay with Diddy for like 2 years. You know, you talked about
Usher stayed with Diddy for 2 years?
At this Diddy camp where he was, raising, celebrity childs and talent and stuff. Usher was part of that. You know, you talked about parties and being around girls and things like that and things that he had no business in. But Usher would never really write out and talk about Diddy. But the whole story and how things tracks in Justin Bieber and the part of his career where he really went downhill because you can clearly tell that this kid was on drugs. He was looking for a way to really cope. Something dramatic has happened to him or has been happening to him. And all of these things are just tracking, And so if Diddy was responsible for all those people, man.
If.
Yeah.
I mean, because maybe not.
Let this be a lesson though, man. It eventually will catch up to you. It always does. But can you imagine if he did that? He just kept doing it and doing it, couldn't stop. And he was probably on serious drugs. I mean, can you imagine the trauma that dude had to live with? And he just probably just had to be on some kind of adrenaline and just keep going and just not looking back. Living in fear and constantly doing drugs and abusing people and keep wanting to get more evidence. And, it's like, what a life. That guy's probably been unhappy for such a long time.
Yeah. But then they're going back to how his Kim Porter, right?
Yeah.
How she passed away.
Yep.
And looking at that, I mean, look at other folks that might have been, did he have a hand in that? I don't want to put that out there, but they're looking at those things. Are there connections?
Yeah. That's Diddy. Man. That's crazy. There go childhood, just completely in 2024, looking a little different. The entire industry is looking a little different. Fame and fortune is looking and feeling a little different. All these celebrity glow. Like the U.S. has such a thing for celebrity, man. This glorification. When I came to the culture, one of the things that make America what it is this star power. You can be a celebrity here and be godlike. Whereas Liberia, only the president, he's damn near a dictator. You know what I mean? No one else is above shit. Like, there's no idolization back there. And here, people are crying in tears and rushing and can't believe and fainting because they've seen another human being. That was a weird and strange concept when I first came here. But that's what it is. But that is getting, again, it's starting to feel a little different. Hopefully it should be a lesson learned that other people should go, man, this stuff is not really what it really, it's all made out to be. Maybe I should just really enjoy and love my life and be happy. And that journey and whatever, that it brings is the ultimate happiness. Because I can't be looking the other way. Can't be envying Diddy. I know a lot of people probably envy Diddy.
Of course. People envy celebrities all the time.
Yeah.
But,
it's crazy.
Grass is not always green on the other side.
Damn sure it's not. It is not.
And nobody's trying to trade their spot for Diddy right now.
Not a damn person.
Right.
Or even coming up to try to protect him.
Well, Suge Knight just said that. Yeah. Nobody's stepping up to defend Diddy.
No.
Everybody's crickets out there,
motherfucker. Yeah, Mary J. Blige, Jay-Z, Kevin Hart. When I hear stories like this, the one person that my mind goes to that I can't help but to respect and admire, because everybody, man, they all go down. even Will and Jada, the couple that, I want that Will love, dark skin and Phil love, the way that Jada and the Will love. Like, come on, like we all thought that was untouchable, and still, eventually, just a matter of time. But the one person that for this long, since I was a child, has known about and has been a celebrity in every right in A-list until to this day, is Eddie Murphy, that has lived a very life close to a saint like Obama.
Oh hell no! You gotta go back. You gotta go back and Google Eddie. When Eddie was married, his first marriage and whatnot.
No.
Yeah, he had the cat. Who was the guy that was? He was living in his backyard. And they said Eddie was messing with that dude. The guy that was living in his backyard when he was married to the chick that ended up marrying Emmitt Smith.
Oh shit.
Yeah, no, hell no, hell no, I can't
I guess
remember
the
the
leather
guy's
pants
name.
made sense, huh?
Nah, hell, not Eddie Murphy. I thought you would give me somebody I could say, oh, yeah, you're right. Nah, hell
I'm just like staying out of trouble, not being convicted for things, not being accused of sexual allegations.
No, man,
not,
you don't see. They say
I mean, if he's secretly gay,
power.
then cool. I mean, if he's gay, that's a different thing. If you're embarrassed to be, because for one, being gay, obviously, right now we're in 2024. Hopefully, people can celebrate people's decision for their sexual preferences. For the people who feel like it's a sin and all of that, whatever. Maybe ask more questions about yourself and look within. That's what I'll say. That would be my message to folks. But there are people who are secretly gay, and there are people who hurt other people's lives because of that practice. Those are the people that I have an issue with. The ones that are shameful and pretend not to be and hurt others and molest other people and things like that, and kids. Those are the people that I have an issue with. But if Eddie wasn't that, then
I never thought Eddie was gay. I thought he might be bi.
Yeah.
Because he still got married to the chick he married, got a couple kids with, but again, Eddie ain't, I don't think he's a saint. Again, there's a lot of folks you can point to. Now, John Legend is probably, straight up.
John Legend, yeah. Yeah. I mean, though his wife is like, Kristen Teigen is, man, we found out that she wasn't all that saint she pretended to be for on Twitter for a long time until her shit came out about her. Yeah, Kristen Teigen, man, like, she's a problem starter. You know what I mean? She's a hypocrite. They realized that shit real quick. And when they turned against her, it was like, oh, yeah, now we'll find out a lot more things. So John Legend being a husband, either he's a true saint to be with her because, like relationship dynamics sense to work like that. So he must be, or they probably both got dirt together. It's just a matter of time. Who knows? You got to be, it's crazy. Now you can't help but to be pessimistic now about things because it's like, damn, that too, them too, this too, that too,
That too.
As long as it ain't me too.
Right, shit. That too, not me too.
I would stay out of that shit.
Hey.
And what we missed today? What we didn't hit? We touched on it briefly, but the article about the Gen Zers not getting work, we skim over that, but we didn't talk about why, because we just like to blame this younger generation, but we don't really care about the root of it and give empathy to it.
The article talked about the fact that Gen Z employees are being let go from jobs at an astounding rate. And employers are saying that Gen Z workers are not ready for professional life. They come to meetings late. They're not able to communicate properly. They have poor communication skills. They want to, they have a lot of needs, and they're just not good fits in the workplace. That doesn't surprise me at all.
Why?
Because Gen Z, they grew up on texting. They're not, they haven't been trained. They came of age in the pandemic, man. They don't know how to interact in a workplace. You know, I mean, when I go to a job and take a job, I'm working 8-9 hours.
Yeah.
Take my lunch hour. I mean, that's how you're raised to do.
And some people, in some cases, working for 30 years at the same job, 40
Absolutely.
years.
Get
Things
your
doesn't
pension,
change.
retire, all that.
A lot
We're
of
not
job
doing that.
opportunities used to be linear. Now, job opportunities or the way to make money has diverse. Kids who are graduating college, their role model is a streamer. One of them named Kai Cenat, as opposed to investment banker, which, by the way, they treat their staff or their young employees, their junior employees, so terrible. You know, they give them crazy work hours. The work environment is very toxic and it's bad. They just overwork them anyway. But that's the model of going into the corporate world of making. If you want to make $200K or something like that, fresh out of college, that's what you get. Or you can figure out how to be a YouTuber. So that's the disparity in job opportunities and where kids or teenagers' mindsets are at, what inspires them. And so we're living in this barbaric system that is so different from what it is now, and society has to catch up. People working online, doing remote now, right? ChatGPT is now doing a lot of things where you now just kind of co-pilot with it to create, as opposed to doing a whole lot of things. You know, to apply for a job, you needed to show some skills where I can just, hey, ChatGPT, create a resume for me within 5 minutes, edify me in this way and that way. You know, put these things over here and just flood people with fake skill sets. You know, the job market is getting filled with that. The atmosphere is changing, and I think when I hear you talk about Gen Zers, you more so go like, these motherfuckers are failing. They got no skills. You know what I mean? Like, they're not prepared for this work environment. But it's more so like, no, we haven't evolved to adapt to what Gen Zers skill sets are now equipped to be, and to give them the right tools to prepare themselves, and for them to thrive in corporate.
That's some bullshit. Look, if I have a job and I have a need for certain things to be done as the job description for that job, and I hire somebody that's fresh out of college and they can't deliver what I need, I got to let them go. And so I'm not trying to catch up to the obscure skills they have that I don't fucking need to be able to give them a platform to be able to demonstrate what they're good at that I don't fucking need. Fuck that. I don't need that shit. I need what I need to get the job done.
So the question is, why are these kids graduating with these degrees and saying this is what I'm capable of doing, finding a job that fits that skill set and not performing?
Yeah, but they're coming in late. They're not able to communicate. I mean, look, I'm not blaming them necessarily, but they grew up in an era where they're not writing papers. They're not communicating through writing.
Right.
They're texting, right, using acronyms. They're not being trained or taught how to exist in a corporate environment. But that's not my fault. If I'm a corporate employer, I want somebody who's going to get the job done that I need. And if they can't, I need somebody else. I don't have time to train somebody and get up to speed to what you can do great so that I can go ahead and, fuck that. I need somebody who can do what I need to do, especially if I'm paying money to them every 2 weeks and giving them a salary.
Well, eventually one or two things are going to happen. Either corporate adjusts to Gen Zers and what the new skill set is and create new business models and jobs. I don't know if that makes sense. Or there's going to be a huge decline in the work environment, or you're going to only hire Gen Xers and millennials, and Gen Zers eventually are going to get older, and it's going to be a disproportion in the market.
Right, and they'll be unemployed. They have to reskill and learn how to be able to acclimate so they can go into the workforce and get a job and keep it.
So will technology maybe catch up in a way? There will be a lot of new jobs with new set of skills that companies can create business model after that would hire these Gen Zers that maybe is not suitable for the suit and tie world, the blue collar jobs.
Maybe if Kamala Harris gets elected, maybe they can start businesses. Maybe they can get trained and retooled. That's an opportunity, and the opportunity economy that she's talking about, huh?
Or you can go back to fracking too.
If they can frack, let them frack. Whatever. I mean, you have to be able to fill the requirements of a need that a job exists. And if you can't do that, I'm not coddling you. I need somebody to do what I need them to do. I'm not dealing with that bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm just more curious about how it's going to adjust. Because when I look at it, I think, well, clearly there's a crossroads that's happening, and it's not that this generation is lazy. We all have different strong suits. Clearly, millennials and Gen Zers are able to do things, I guess, when it comes to the virtual, so much quicker, faster, which is really was, in a lot of the cases, pushing evolution forward. I guess I wonder where's the balance between doing that and hard skills, or we're also talking about just knowing how to carry yourself, being timely, having a discipline, knowing how to, having hard skills. Like, my point is, like, Gen Zers are not necessarily going to need to know how to do welding. They don't necessarily need to know how to, be coal miners anymore. Those things are fading, right? They don't necessarily need to know, maybe, who knows if plumbing and those different, or housekeeping and those things are going to fade because the robots will be taking care of those things. Like truck drivers also is not really becoming a thing because of automation. So this industry is shifting. A lot of people is going to be out of job. So I don't know, like, what.
If I need somebody to come in and do X, Y, and Z, I need you to be on time.
Yeah.
I need you to be able to produce the information and then do what I need you to do. It's not rocket science. And if you're not able to communicate in writing because all you've done is text, and you're not able to get to work on time and put in a full 8 hours, I get somebody else. I mean, like, I'm not obligated to pay you my hard-earned money for you to give me less than what I need to get the job done. I'm not obligated to do that.
Yeah.
And so if you need to go ahead on and start your own business, or you're not willing to, if you haven't been trained, okay, and you're willing, but Gen Zers, man, they want to be able to, they want a collaborative, supportive environment. They want to be able to say what's important to them and have feelings and discussions about how they feel and how they're being utilized. And nobody want to hear that shit.
And that's why our previous generation are also trauma, and they come with their own set of hardship.
They're traumatized, but they come in, work 8 hours, give you what you need,
and also unhappy, and
they go
in
home.
This one life on earth,
and they're unhappy at home.
Yeah,
okay,
there's that argument too, right? Not happy in a relationship, not happy in their marriage. So human beings have not always, like, boomers didn't have the answer, pretty much, right? Yeah,
boomers. You say boomers haven't. Why do boomers not? Boomers are pretty financially secure.
Sure, financially secure, industrial. Yeah, we sure, and that's also based on, the industry, and wish you guys had to in the workforce industry. And I'm saying, like, Gen Zers are honing in on different set of skills that may not even be available yet for them to partake in, and they're not as motivated as doing other things. That could be that too. But I get it. If I need you to do certain things and I'm paying you a certain amount of wage, you don't have the skill set, you can't show up on time, I'm gonna let you go. I get it. I was just more so trying to figure out why that's happening and what does that mean? Because something's got to give. Eventually, something in the system there's gonna be a crossroads.
Yeah, eventually you gotta show up with fuck on time, and you gotta be able to produce what I'm asking for, and then stay to the end, time to get off. Yeah. And if you don't, I'll get somebody else.
Yeah, or maybe job will change. I think maybe job will change and people will have more skill set to match those jobs that are changing. Younger generation. I think that's what's gonna happen. That's gonna allow them to show up on time and do what they need to do. But
you're an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
You're a content creator.
Sure.
If you hire somebody that you need to do a specific thing to create the content you need that you're going to take and do the next thing, but they show up consistently late and they can't do exactly what you want them to do, they got some other skills that you don't need, and you're going to keep paying them?
No, but I also think that content creation is interesting. It's something that is still that's exciting. That's something that is
to you.
Not just to me, but it is a valuable thing. And I think the generation, as they're evolving, they're still interested in things like that, especially content creation. So it's an exciting job field. So yes, but if I had an old system, old barbaric job that people are not really interested in, it may be, becoming obsolete. I may not want to show up at that job. If I think that the model is like, I don't know.
But you're not answering what I'm saying. I'm saying if you as an entrepreneur, content creator, and you need a certain thing done to help make your workflow go faster, and you hire somebody to do that thing, and they show up consistently late, and they can't do the thing that you want, are you going to continue to employ them?
No, but you're arguing based on principles. I'm not arguing based on principles. I'm arguing based on interest.
I'm arguing based on facts.
Yeah, well, that's what's happening now. But that thing that you're speaking of is principles. It doesn't matter what the job is. And I'm saying it matters what the job is. And I think if
I'm saying it matters what the job is.
I think you saying it matters that you go to job.
It matters the job you need.
Okay.
It matters the job you need, and you're as a content creator is a thing you need that needs to be done. And the person you hired, who's Gen Z, is showing up late, and they're not delivering what you need to do what you want. Will you continue to pay them?
No one would.
Well, that's my point.
I know that's your point. I'm also just providing a different nuance. So I get that point, valid. But I'm also curious to know more. I want to know. I want to unveil the curtain. I just don't want to say Gen Zers are not doing X, Y, and Z, and they're supposed to do that because they're showing up, assuming that that's the agreement. And if they don't do that, me as a business owner, I'm going to fire them. Got that? Of course I would. I would expect anybody to do that. But then, as a curious mind, I'm just going, well, what's happening as a result? Why are we noticing this trend all of a sudden? And I just don't think it's that black and white. I don't think we're just going to say Gen Zers are not doing this, and if you don't do this, I'm going to fire you. I'm trying to say, how has society changed that the rest of us hadn't really caught up to, that we're experiencing this? And you're reverting back to, it doesn't matter if I got a job that I need you to do and you don't show up on time and do the said task, I'm going to fire you.
So you're going to ask these questions of your curious nature after you fired.
No, I have the luxury to ask that now, but yeah.
No. In my scenario, you fired them, but now you want to know more. And you have the bandwidth to kind of dive deeper into why that didn't work out, right?
Yeah.
Right? For me, I don't care. I just need somebody who's going to get done what I need to be done.
No.
And if it's not you, then it needs to be somebody else other than you that's going to do what I'm willing to pay for.
Well,
that's it in a capitalistic society.
Yeah, for sure. If I'm a boss, if I'm the manager, that's my way of thinking. I don't care to go find out and do research. However, we're on a podcast and we're talking about it in theory. So like I can entertain hypothetically, or there are other things I can entertain, right? I have the luxury to say, okay, well, let me look at it from this lens. Why is that, right? Because we're having a conversation. I'm not experiencing wanting to hire someone and them not being able to do the task. Obviously, I'm going to let that person go. But as we're on this mic, I'm going, well, let's peel the curtain back more and just kind of be curious about why. That's why I'm saying we're on different bit, because you're speaking about principles, and I agree with you.
I don't care why.
Yeah,
I
do.
I got it. I get it.
Right. That's now, cool. I do. If I was employing someone, I wouldn't care.
Right.
But we're not right now.
But we're putting ourselves in that position. So for me, it doesn't matter why you're not able to, which is why these 7 out of 10 or 6 out of 10 employers that are letting Gen Zers go because they're not able to do what they need them to do, show up on time, provide what they need, be timely in that, communicate effectively in a workplace environment. They're not able to do those things in others. You gotta go.
Boot. Peace.
And I'll get somebody that can, because I have a product that I need to produce, and I need people that can help me get my job done. I get that. So, I mean, I don't mind if the people come by later and want to interview me. Why did you let 5 Gen Zers go in the last 3 months? Oh, I'm happy to tell you. I'll take 30 minutes and tell you that. And then you can go on your way, write your little analysis, and good for you. But I've already hired people that can get the job done.
We're talking about a generation. We're not talking about a human being, a certain group of people or whatever. We're talking about an entire generation. I care enough to know why the generation that's behind me is failing. I care to want to dig deeper and going, well, what is it? As opposed to, well, this is really what's really happening. They're not being hired, so well, we're gonna hire someone to do the job because they can't do the job. Sorry for you. This is an entire generation of people that we're talking about.
Yeah, no, I may read about it Saturday morning while I'm drinking a hot chocolate to see it out of curiosity.
And we're talking about on the podcast right now out of curiosity. This is what we're going to
spending my time during the week, and when I got a job to get done, I'm gonna get the people that can get it done, whether that's Gen X, millennial, or a boomer, because Gen Z can't do it.
Yeah,
they can't. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm empathetic to Gen Zers. So for y'all, man, I tried. The boomers don't give a shit about y'all. They're just like, y'all can't do the job. Another generation is going to do it.
Can't do it. Somebody else will. But send your resumes to LaValla. He's willing to hire you, even if you can't get done shit that he needs to get done.
Nah, I'm using AI. Sorry.
So now you don't even got a job with him.
No, I don't got a job with me, so I'm gonna hire you. Look, man. Look, AI is my sidekick. And I know a lot of employers that are replacing a lot of people with AI if they can.
Yeah.
So that's another thing. So man, the job market is gonna be who's gonna do the job. That should be the question. Who's gonna do the job for this podcast episode? Because it ain't Gen Zers, and we don't care. Well,
you care.
One generation doesn't care.
I don't care. I mean, look, hey, retool, understand the workplace, the market, and then adapt.
You gotta adapt to survive.
You gotta adapt, man. That's the nature of business.
Yeah.
The market will tell you if what you have is sustainable.
That's true.
If I'm trying to sell widgets with a pink hat and nobody's buying them, I need a different project or product.
Yes.
Need a different product.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or at least a different business model.
I need a whole lot of shit difference. But if I have something in the marketplace that people want, now I can fine tune that and how can I make that more efficient?
Yeah.
And if you're a Gen Zer and you're showing up late and you can't communicate in writing and you can't give me what I need somebody that can do what I need him to do.
Product does not work. Yeah, man. Well, you hear that, Gen Zers, man. Hopefully you can go find out yourselves, seek therapy, and come back and be able to do the damn job.
Hey, whatever you need.
Or will not hire you.
I'm not.
He's not going to hire you.
I'm not. And I'm unapologetic.
I wonder if there's going to be generation discrimination happening pretty soon.
Sounds like it already is.
Oof. That's tough. All right.
Well,
on that note,
come to the end of that, y'all. One more episode in the books. Till next time.
Till next time, y'all.
Yo.
Peace,
later.
neighbors.